Rolex used to be a Zenith.
They
All right,
did.
guys, go for it.
After the 71 quartz crisis, when the Japanese sunk the entire Swiss watch industry, they switched over to Zenith.
Yeah, they were Zenith for a while, and then they took the movement in house.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're live. So I'll say
we're live.
I'll say it now. So if it's okay,
go ahead and apologize. Apologize, you.
I had two clients reach out to after last week's interview. I had two clients reach out, blowing me up, and with pictures included of their Rolex Daytonas. So I'd like to formally apologize and say it is in fact a fucking glorious looking watch and a classic timepiece. Because again, I'm credit where credit is due. Stick my foot in my mouth. Our tongues got a bit loose last week, so I apologize. The Rolex Daytona might be one of the most beautiful watches and classic watches ever made.
I mean, absolutely, bro. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I mean, can you say no to a beautiful Daytona Paul Newman? I mean, ooh.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a beaut. And one of the guys sent me his was gold, black face, black subdials. Dude, I mean, that's a $35,000 watch. It's a fucking beautiful watch.
It's sexy as hell.
Yeah.
And speaking of watches, man, I was telling you my Omega thing on my ocean on my Planet Ocean fell through. So, but on a stroke of incredible luck, I was able to snag the 110-660, aka the Rolex Sea Dweller, aka the James Cameron Deep Sea.
And it just fucking. Did you go like black on black? What's the what's the dial?
I have the blue dial, so it's half blue, half black. The dial.
Nice.
Dude, you got monstrous 19 millimeters thick.
So did you get the Batman?
No, not the Batman. This is the Sea Dweller. Oh my god!
You're right.
Long day. It's the friggin'. No, it's the Sea Dweller.
The Batman is the GMT, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's not the Batman. It's not the Batman. It's the Sea Dweller. If I remember correctly, it's the 110-660. That's the James Cameron, and they know it's the James Cameron because they made it when James Cameron went to the bottom to look at the Titanic. He was in the Marianas Trench. He took a deep dive in the Marianas Trench off the coast of Australia. And Rolex actually made this watch for him. It's like a 10,000 meter, bro. It's a 10,000 meter watch. It's insane.
Did you end up getting a sweet deal on it?
I got a cherry deal on it, man. Luckily, like one of my clients owns. He's one of the top Rolex dealers in the Midwest. I don't want to mention his name, but anybody's interested in a fine Rolex piece, this guy, he's an authorized Rolex, not only retailer but also seller. As well as repair, but also repair facility. So he repairs Rolexes, he maintains them, the whole 9 yards. So it's a beautiful piece I was able to get off of him. Got it for a sweet cherry of a deal. The watch is worth over 5 figures. I paid less than that by a stroke of beautiful luck.
Can you disclose what if you're free to talk about it? What happened with the Omega? Was it just beat up when it showed up? Was it fake? What happened?
The movement wasn't working.
Really?
It would crack out. It's a legit Omega, man.
It was just legit. So it was either fucked up or it was factory defect or something.
Somebody screwed up somewhere.
Yeah. That's fucked up, dude. And I know we lose a lot of the audience when we start talking about high-end luxury watches, but it's like a lot of other things, dude. It's once you go down the rabbit hole and you get into them, especially like the APs or the Phillips or whatever, the history about them and shit, and dude,
James Cameron is 12,800 meters, bro. That's what it is. 12,800 meters. It's a 44 millimeter watch.
Dude, that's huge for Rolex. That's huge.
Dude,
for
it's
Rolex.
Crazy. They actually, when James Cameron went to the Marianas Trench, they took the watch and tied it to the outside arm of the submersible.
I think most, because the GMTs I think are 40. I know the Daytonas are 40. The day presidents used to be 36. I think they're up to 40 now too. I think the Yachtmaster is 44. which is like the standard Yachtmaster. I think is 44. But yeah, dude, good for you.
You know what I also got?
When do you get? Do you already have that bad boy in your hands?
Monday. It's gonna be my hands on Monday.
It really, dude, it really is like a kid on Christmas when you're waiting for.
Bro, I want to snap some pictures. You know what I also got, man? I got some great knockaround watches. Like, you know, anybody who's interested in like a good mid-range watch, it's below 1,000. And it's a homage watch. It's a Submariner homage watch. It's by Steinhardt, which is a German watch company. They use the ETA 2428 or the 2824 movement, which is the same movement that Omega uses, except Omega takes the ETA movement and they actually massage it, right, to make it their own little version of it. But but yeah, the Steinhardt, it's oh my god, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful. It looks like a Submariner, but without the Cyclops lens,
right?
And
the Cyclops over the date.
Yeah, exactly. The Cyclops lens over the date doesn't have that. So it's a lensless Submariner. That's what it looks like. Mil spec. It has the black ceramic bezel. Beautiful watch. They retail for anywhere between $550 to $600, $700. Picked it up for $499. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous watch. Good.
Dude, I know we often make fun of the other side of the political spectrum for not being able to control their emotions, but can you describe for me your emotions when the Omega ended up being a dud? Like, were you angry? Did you get triggered? Were you angry or were you like sad?
Remember that woman who became the meme when Donald Trump won and he gave his commencement speech and she fell on the ground and said,
the scream, yes, the screaming, the
screeching, the screeching feminist was. I was a combination between that and Trigglypuff. Remember Trigglypuff?
Yeah, dude, Trigglypuff is epic. The 400-pound girl who like shakes both hands. Yes.
So I was somehow in between both of those two emotions right there.
Well, dude, there is nothing. It doesn't matter what you're talking about in life, be it a consumer purchase, or the girl you really like and doesn't like you back or whatever. When your emotions get really high and they come fucking crashing down in disappointment, that's when some people react. I don't react well to it either. I usually fucking rage and then get depressed for a while, but it's that's why I was curious how you handle it, because I would have been fucking pissed too.
It's like, what can you do? You know, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. The lesson being is that, you know, there's always a silver cloud and things always happen for a reason.
You ended up finding the gem, right?
Dude, well, you know what are my odds of getting a Rolex Sea Dweller, you know, deep sea, right, for the price that I paid, which is far below market? What was the chance of that happening? You know, hardly any, unless of course that Omega broke and it was in my favor to have this guy, you know, make me happy.
Dude,
it worked out beautiful.
Without sounding like a tacky, fucking lame Hallmark quote, it closes the door, opens a window, or whatever, however the fuck you want to say it.
Dude, exactly.
Yeah, everything kind of happens for a reason, dude. Good on you, brother. Good on you. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. So I'm happy about that. And I also bought like a knock-around watch. I bought a beautiful Seiko 5. A simple. You can pick those up for less than $150. I got the Pepsi one, so it's got like that GMT color where half red, half blue around the bezel.
My buddy got that same GMT. They're throwing out a lot of different looks like that. I mean, the all green Hulk, and that's I asked you earlier about the Batman, and that
if you want the Hulk, my jeweler's gonna get a couple in stock in about 2 weeks. If you want a Hulk Submariner.
Dude, that fucker sells out quick.
Yeah.
I was shocked at the popularity of some of those bicolors. And I don't mean popularity. I mean like sold out 2 months out, 3 months out at a lot of dealers. And then dude, you know what's sharp as fuck is my favorite Rollie is the Daytona too, especially after the backlash. And I'm not caving. It's a sharp looking fucking watch.
Dude, the Daytona is gorgeous, bro. You
Yeah,
never knock on the Daytona.
Dude, the gold GMT with a black dial is pretty fucking sharp too. It looks that yellow gold really fucking sparkles with a black dial on a GMT.
Yeah, it does, man. You know what I also like is which one is that? It's the Daytona with the ice blue dial with the.
Dude, are you
the platinum bezel?
You're talking about the most like that's like the most expensive production rollout. Yeah, that one's like 70 grand or 65 grand or something.
Dude, that thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it's got like the brown ceramic. Yes, with a baby blue. Yeah, that thing is sharp as shit. And dude, I don't understand the logic because me and you are in metals, and we know platinum and gold are on par right now. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. So
it doesn't make any sense, dude. Platinum is the most undervalued metal you can get amongst the precious metals. And here's the funny thing: back in 2012, yours truly moved 1/6 of the entire world's platinum in trade.
No shit. Yeah, I didn't know you were big in the. I didn't know you were big in the platinum game, dude.
Love platinum. It's so undervalued. It's so dude. It's one of those metals. Platinum should be double that of gold right now. It should be.
That all happened with the monetary chaos up on the gold run up when gold hit 1950 or whatever. So platinum was more than spot gold for and that's another thing that's another thing about watches too. When you start getting into these higher end watches where they are precious metals based, you start noticing the correlation. And for metals guys who aren't into watches, like if you have a fine knowledge of metals going into watches, it gives you a leg up because you understand the melt value and blah blah blah. Not to mention the numismatic and collectible value, but before that monetary run up, platinum was always more expensive than gold. Like, yeah, I mean, and now it's cheaper. But the same fucking watch from Rolex is the same exact watch. The only difference is you're substituting platinum for gold. Is literally double. For that the Daytona you're talking about is like 65 70 grand, where the all gold Rolex Daytona is like 30 35 or whatever. So yeah, it's remarkable, dude. I'm not a huge platinum guy. Not for I'm talking about for like a watch or jewelry. But for investment, I love it too. I think it's undervalued as shit. The inverse relationship right now makes no sense. I mean, again, it's not viewed as monetary as much as gold, but it seems like a good investment to me just because it's undervalued right now.
Yeah, exactly, tremendously, man. You know, the other thing is that palladium, another one.
Yeah, palladium had a huge run up in it. Again, dude, it's the commodities haven't done what they're supposed. Even the gold and silver had a really good month so far. The commodities haven't done what they should be doing the last 3 years, dude. I mean that goes without saying, and I think that's what makes a lot of the metals guys and girl. I mean, not to let me remain gender neutral. That's why a lot of metals people are so disappointed in cryptos. Not disappointed, but are still anti-crypto because it's kind of like a gut punch to what should have occurred. Free to, without any sort of third parties doing whatever. God knows what's really going on behind the scenes. We have proof already, but it's probably even 10 times worse than that. What metals should have done the last 3 years is kind of, I think, why a lot of the very few people who are still on the reservation and won't touch crypto, I think that's the reason, because they're so incredibly fucking. They're still waiting. They're waiting. Gold should be 5,000 or gold should be 8,000 or whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Their wait's going to pay off, man. I think the first thing that's going to be breaking out. I've said this. A couple other people have said this as well. I think silver is going to be the big breakout. I think it's going to be the big breakout, and I think platinum is going to break out big too, and then gold's going to go right along with it. The reason for that is this, man. Yeah.
Full disclosure, my only problem with silver, and it's not an investment problem, it's a practical problem. My only problem with silver is it's a bitch to move. It's a bitch to store, it's a bitch to hide, it's a bitch to move. Do I 100% agree that silver is the undervalued asset and a better investment than gold? That being said, it's hard for you to move around $500,000 in silver.
Yeah, it's hard for you to move around 50,000 in silver.
Yeah, dude, you try lugging around a thousand. For any person who's moved and puts it under their pillow and all that kind of shit, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Moving around thousands of ounces of silver or even hundreds of ounces, an ass, and stuffing away a couple 100 ounces of gold in your pockets or in a gym bag is really not that fucking difficult. So the portability,
put $1 million in like in a woman's shoebox.
Yeah, dude, easily. Yeah, it's not dude. It's if you've seen a fucking many people haven't, but if you've actually held a fucking kilo bar, you'd be shocked at how fucking small it is. It's heavy, but it's not. It's fucking so. Dude, a 10-ounce gold bar is so fucking small. It's smaller than a 10-ounce silver by far.
It is.
But it's again, I love silver, dude. Love the shit out of silver. It's how many holes are in your fucking backyard? Like, it's like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Where do I fucking put this shit? That's the problem. That's my only issue with silver, and it's nothing from an investment side, dude. All upside, undervalued, suppressed. It's high at that point. 3-4 years ago, like 49. What did it tip at? I mean, think about 49. That for a minute. Yeah, I mean, it's a third of the price it's already fucking touched. Like it's like fucking stealing. Imagine the fucking Dow at a third of at a price what it was 3 years ago. I mean, that's when you jump in on assets, when assets are suppressed, undervalued, etc. That's when you should be buying. And gold's undervalued too, but silver's massively undervalued.
Massively.
Again, yeah. And again, that part of my metals model. I was into watches before heavy into metals. And then I kind of, I've been so heavy. I've been so involved in metals the last 9 years that you start to realize there is a correlation there. Especially once you get into like the higher end fucking watches, like the big boys, where the cheapest one you're going to find is 5 figures.
Yeah.
Then you realize, it's made of all platinum. It's made of all gold. It's made of all the. It's made of it's pretty sweat, dude.
No, I'm with you, man. I think it's watches as a child that got me into metals, and I think my first watch that I fell in love with was the old school early '80s Seiko 5 automatic, which I still. I mean, Seikos are great watches, man. I mean, they got some. I mean, you got a Grand Seiko. That's a 5-figure watch right there, bro.
Dude, some of the Pateks are so beautiful and so classic and made with such fucking awesome material. It's like and that's what I've learned more like the last year, that there's a few brands, and they're one of them, that it's like they've been fucking rock stars for 100 years, 50 years, and just from an investment standpoint, like you'd buy one of those watches for like $2,000 in the 70s, and that fucker goes for a 200 grand right now. Like, it's like your
collectability factor.
Dude, absolutely. And dude, you know who does a great job talking about that? James Rickards. So the author of Currency Wars and whatever other fucking book. He's wrote like 4 books the last 8 years.
Collects watches.
Well, dude, he talks about when he studies these oligarch plutocrat families, like how are the Rockefellers, how are the Rothschild, how are all these fucking families rich for a century or 2 centuries, and what their portfolios look like. A lot of it is in arts and collectibles. So yeah, they have a shitload of gold, they have a shitload of equities, they have a shitload of this, a shitload of that, but it does some of those fucking paintings and shit. They're depression proof, dude. They're recession proof. It doesn't matter. There'll always be.
That's why art sales are through the roof nowadays, bro.
Dude, of course. Well, especially now on this, the way the market has been the last fucking since the crash. Absolutely. But even if there is another 1929 or another 2008 or whatever, the guess what? A Da Vinci is still going to sell. Like it's a Picasso is still going to, you're still going to get rid of that. And that's hyperbole. Those are obviously, 7 and 8 figure works of art, 9 figure works of art, but the fucking art's not bad. But the problem is if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you could get fucking taken bad.
Oh yeah,
bad.
Oh yeah.
And we have it now with we have some clients who are trying to bring over numismatics or whatever, and I'm like, dude, we don't touch that shit. We go based on melt and blah blah blah.
Yeah, numismatics is the biggest freaking ripoff. When you want to go buy a stupid numismatic piece of garbage, you're gonna pay like a 25% premium. Then you go sell it, you're gonna get like spot.
Well, dude, yeah, it's really it's the subjective value argument, and one of the prohibited transactions for our main product, dude, our bread and butter, the LLC IRA. One of the prohibited transactions is collectibles. You can't go buy $250,000 stamp.
You mean I can't go buy X-Men #1?
Yeah, exactly, because it's shockingly it's hard to put a valuation on that on an annual basis. It's all subjective value theory, and if it's part of a personal collection and you know what you're doing, yes, collectibles can be a great idea. But if it's some 800 number, there's a difference between fucking bidding for something at Christie's in New York versus an 800 number that you're getting fucking pounced at 50% over spot or whatever. Buyer beware. I mean, it is what it is. Know what the fuck you're doing if you're going to pay a premium for that kind of shit.
I agree, man. And you know what? Something else that's a great way to put your money is watches. Because, dude, you get a nice timepiece, or even remember a time like watch knobs like these mid-range watches. Dude, there are mid-ranges that have gone up in value considerably.
Well, dude, we touched on that last week. So it's not only is it a great investment from you could liquidate it. There's a certain threshold where everything becomes collectible, and it's the same thing for cars. Like a 1992 Mustang's not fucking badass yet, but a 1967 is. Like it's like at a certain point it's going to flip, and even if it doesn't become like the fucking Paul Newman fucking Daytona version that I think Austrian for however many million, you never get smoked on a crushing deappreciation. So if the guy who dropped 5 years ago 25 grand, 30 grand for a gold Daytona could still liquidate that fucker for 23 today. Like, right. So you take that initial hit like you would any retail product, but it bounces back. It's never gonna you're never gonna get smoked like you would a brand new car off a fucking parking lot.
I mean, most cars are garbage, man. I remember, dude, here's another thing on cars. 2003, I graduated college, okay, and I started my first business. And graduating college, I had the opportunity to buy a 1989 BMW M3, which is the first generation, the E30 platform, right, for $14,000. And I passed because at that time my mind was young, and I was stupid, and I was still in my boy racer phase. And, what did I do? I walked right into the Mitsubishi dealer, and I bought myself the Lancer Evolution 8, which is a rally car. And I modded that thing, 400 horsepower to the wheels. It was four-wheel drive. I had a lot of fun. But through the years, my Evo 8, my Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, depreciated significantly in value to like whatever. I think I sold it for 14 grand. It was a $32,000 car at that time, right? Dude, an E30 M3 from 1989 right now, a BMW M3, the first M3 ever made. Dude, I've seen them go on Auto Trader 120, 130, 140,000 miles like for 200 grand.
Get the fuck out of here already?
I shit you not. Already. I'm telling you right now, people don't know. Like I have my finger to the pulse on this kind of stuff, right? I'm telling you right now. If you could snatch an E30 M3, get it. It's like an air-cooled 911.
And it's because it's first generation.
First gen, it's dude. Anything, because you know how every freaking car right now is going electric,
right?
It's electric steering wheel and 10-speed automatics and freaking like traction control this, nanny control that, butt warmer this. What's happening is that these cars are putting out impressive quote unquote numbers, but they feel like crap. They're numb. There's no feedback. So now there's such an urge for analog mechanical feeling cars, because it's all about this thing called this elusive black art called the driving experience, right?
Dude, have you ever seen the show comedians driving and getting coffee or something?
Doing coffee? Yeah.
With Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, this is just my opinion. I think he's a closet conservative or libertarian. Because the little side comments, the Freudian slips he says under his breath, especially with the new politically correct police.
Yep.
Like he's like, yeah, like you'll hear him talk to a waitress or something like, yeah, sorry for assuming your gender. Or like he basically talks like one of us, like a smart ass about this new disgusting PC culture. Exactly. So I think he's like, these young people have gotten really disgusting the last fucking 5 years. But yeah, to your point, that's what he's like. He's like, and dude, that motherfucker. That motherfucker. Well, yeah, that motherfucker. What is he net worth? Like $1 billion? He's like up there. He's like 800 mil or $1 billion or something.
And he has one of the largest Porsche 911 collections. 911, folks, not your Cayennes, not your Panameras, not your Caymans, not your Boxsters. 911. Okay, there's only one Porsche. That's a 911. Everything else is just fluff that they sell to help them make more 911s. That's it.
Well, and he takes the exact approach you take. It's like there's something about the ingenuity of it, the beauty of it, the fucking the just dude. A lot of them are works of not only artistic works of art, but the engineering is so brilliant. And dude, and I'm not even a car guy, but I obviously could tell you are, and Seinfeld certainly is.
Dude, it's a natural progression. Every car guy's a watch guy, and vice versa. You have to take
I'm starting to sense that, because in that show, and I got into it in the last couple weeks for some reason. It was just on Netflix. I'm like, oh, what the fuck's that? Because I love Seinfeld and I love Curb Your Enthusiasm and shit. So yeah, and every watch he's always sporting is always a badass watch too.
Right.
Like so, and he doesn't flaunt it. I just look for it. Like, so he's interviewing someone and I'm staring at his watch. I'm like, oh, holy shit, that's a 44 Transocean Breitling. Oh, that's a fucking rollout. Oh, that's a fucking. So I could spot whatever the fuck he's wearing, and he is into. So I could tell he's into watches and cars, obviously.
Huge, absolutely. It's here's a great car. If look, Porsche 911s have completely priced themselves out of the mortal reach. If you're lucky enough to pick up the older 993 platform air-cooled motors, the 964s, even when the 964s started depreciating, I was telling people to snap them up. Now, these prices have gone through the roof, man. You're talking about these old cars from the 80s and 90s. They're over six figures, man.
Are they really?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
The newer Porsche is not so much, unless, of course, it's one of those exclusive collectibles, like the one-offs. But those older 911s, man, they are, oh my God, unbelievable. Now on the BMW side, I'm looking at BMW. They have the E46 platform M3s, which came from 2001 all the way to 2006, okay? If you could find a good example of a manual transmission BMW M3 coupe from 2001 to 2006, grab it and hold on for dear life. That is the preeminent car. I have an M3 as well. I have the fourth generation. It's the E92 platform, which is the first and last of its kind. It's the V8, revs to 4,000. It revs to 9,000 RPM, makes about 420 horsepower out of a little 4-liter. And that car, oh my God, it is so balanced. And I'm driving it. BMW's always calling me, hey, we'll give you a sweet deal on a trade for a new 2007. And every time I take my car to service, I'm like, nope, not interested. Because there's a level of feedback that you don't find in these cars. Dude, you realize, like, back in the day when like BMW, before they started putting M badges on everything, if BMW made a minivan, they'll put an M badge on it. It wasn't like that back in the day.
Wasn't there only the M3 and the M5?
That was it.
Yeah, and
now
the
it's an M everything, you know.
well, I remember the M5 used to be able to look. I had a 5 Series.
Oh,
I had a 5 Series in my 20s. It was like my first major purchase.
yeah.
Like when I was, and I'll be full honesty, I couldn't fucking afford it. It was fucking stupid. But I was like 24 years old, and the M5 always struck my eye because it looked a lot like the car I had, except for it could like drive as fast as a Corvette. So
Dude, it'll blow the doors off. Exactly.
I'm like, how the fuck do I get that thing?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
No, they're beautiful cars. My parents got a Beamer, and this was one of the last times I caught a beating. Was because they eventually, me and you were bigger guys, so they eventually kind of gave up in my teenage years. But one of my last fucking beatings, and it wasn't even a beating. My mom just like literally attacked me with a pool stick. It was she just got a new 750 or 7. I think at the time it was 740s or 745s, whatever the fuck they were. She got a 745. Business was good. Both parents were alive. Blah blah blah. But I was like 16. Took the fucking car out like an asshole, total asshole move, whatever. It's a 16-year-old has no business driving a fucking 7 Series Beamer. She wasn't home, obviously, and I got back before she got back. Thought I got away with it, dude. Came down to the basement with a couple friends over. She comes down to the basement. She's like, "Where was my car?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Listen, you dumb fuck. I put my hand on the hood, and I know you just took my car out." So she would come home. She would come home every fucking day, and I didn't know this was going on. She would come home every day and put her fucking hand on the hood to see if anyone fucked with her car. So she takes a fucking pool stick. We had a pool table in the basement. Dude, my friends
like
are looking.
True Greek mom.
dude, is fucking balls deep old school, like almost to the extent where she intimidates me. I'm like, what the fuck? Which might explain why I naturally gravitate towards crazy women. But she looks at all my friends and me, and she goes, "You guys could either stay and watch this, or you could get the fuck out of here." And no one knew what she was talking about. And then she took the pool stick, broke it over the fucking pool table with one swing in half, and then started just fucking attacking me. And everyone, dude, we're not fucking 9 years old. We're like 16-year-olds, and big guys, whatever. And everyone just darts up the stairs, runs into the street, dude. It was so fucking fun. To this day, me and her still laugh about that story.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I've to answer your question, the reason I even bring that story up is I've been in love with Beamers for fucking 25, 30 years. Dude,
if you want to get something that matters, man, get yourself like anywhere between like 2002, 2003 BMW M5. That was the last V8 one, manual. That's considered the greatest car they ever made. Period.
Dude, and that's around the time I fell in love with the M5. So 2003, 2004, I'm like 24 years old, 25 years old, and that's when I started noticing them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, I can't speak for you, but the best way I could describe a Beamer, every single Beamer I've ever driven, they just hug the fucking road.
When you come up here, I will take you a ride on my M3, man. I think it has the competition package. It is, dude. There's nothing like it.
It just feels like they have a lower center of gravity or something.
They do. My roof on my car, the whole entire roof of my car is carbon fiber. The whole roof. I don't have no sunroof. It's raw exposed carbon fiber. It's carbon fiber roof. Okay, it's got clear coat over it. It's carbon fiber roof. That lowers the center of gravity to like you can feel the center of gravity in my car when I'm pulling like over 1G in a corner. Like you can feel it, and I run like sticky tires. You know, I run like Michelin Pilot Super Sports PS2s. You know, they're just insanely sticky. These cars were from an era where it was about they would hire Formula One drivers and professional race car drivers to come test the car, not to see how fast the friggin' thing was, but they would always ask the drivers, "How did it feel? How did it feel?" Because at that time the car companies were run by engineers, not freaking whatever the hell they're doing now.
Right.
It's terrible, man.
Let me ask you, and I've never driven one. I don't know anything about what's going on under the hood. I can only speak to what I think of the optics of it. What are your feelings and thoughts about the i8?
It's a good car. I like the way it looks.
Dude, it looks a lot like an Aston Martin. It's a beautiful looking car. Like
it's gorgeous. It's straight up exotic. It has the gold doors and everything.
Dude, it's sick. Yeah, it looks like a fucking Aston Martin. It looks sharp. But that's all I know about it. I've never driven one. I don't know what's going on with under the hood. I don't know.
It's not my cup of tea. It's too gizmo. It's too electronic. It's too like an iPad on wheels. It's too close to that whole Tesla level of retardedness.
Are they all going that way though?
They're all going. There's only a handful of cars that are not, and those are the ones that are celebrated and sought after, and looked for by collectors. I tell people right now, anybody who's interested in a serious driver's car, I always tell people, go get a freaking Mazda Miata. You want to like flip out. You want to realize that, like, dude, I mean, these cars are from a philosophy and time where it was like race car drivers were hired to figure out how these cars would feel at the limit, not how fast it could go 0 to 60. Nobody cares about that time. And like I said, like, today BMW puts an M badge on everything, right? Dude, I remember when you remember the 8 Series, bro, the 8 Series Coupe, the 850 CSI?
Yeah.
Back in the days when oh my God, they were sexy, bro. It was so ahead of its time. That BMW back then, like I remember when automotive journalists went to Germany to test drive the BMW 850 CSI. It had a M Motorsports engine. It had the M division, BMW's M division, who makes all the stuff. The M division, they worked the engine, the suspension, the steering, all the all the little knickknacks in that car. And they're like, this is the most amazing, devastating V12 supercar we've tested. It's a beautiful grand touring car. How come you're not calling this an M8? And the head of BMW engineering at that time says, it's too heavy. That's why we won't call it an M8. It's too heavy.
Just that simple.
But it's just that simple. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
Because the philosophy of M is lightweight, high revving motors, great driver feedback. That's why all M cars were manual, rear-wheel drive. You can't handle with that, then it's not for you.
It
wasn't for everybody. It was for somebody.
Is BMW's shift over to what they're doing now? Does that line up with the ideological shift
yes,
of Germany?
Yes, it does. Yeah, and dude, everything's feminized and it's ruining everything. It's ruining cars. Like look at the Acura NSX, right? Like here's a case in point I was looking at. The current generation NSX was actually designed by a woman in Ohio. You know how many of these NSXs Acura sold? Nothing.
Zero.
It's an abysmal failure.
But because
it was designed by a woman and was designed by Silicon Valley nerds instead of automotive enthusiasts, instead of like real men with balls hanging between their legs.
Well, like I referenced earlier about that Seinfeld show on Netflix, the other Freudian slips I'll see him have outside of the politically correct jargon are when one or two of the younger millennial comics have had the balls or nerve to let it slip up about the environment.
Oh, God.
And Jerry will instantly be like, yeah, I'm not worried about that. Shut the fuck up. Like it's kind of like a total dismissal of take your tree hugging liberal bullshit and shove it up your ass. Like, it's pretty. It was, and again, it kind of all leads me to believe like he's hidden one of us. Like, dude,
there's no doubt about it. I think there was an article in one of the car magazines where they actually talk about Seinfeld being an undercover conservative libertarian. Absolutely, I totally believe that.
I think. Well, again, it's hard to grow up in an earlier generation, regardless of your politics. If you grew up pre 2001, pre 2005, you were in adulthood any time before that time, including Seinfeld, including Larry David, including you, including me. If you got a taste of what the zeitgeist used to be like, this modern days are definitely confusing to you. It's like your politics are almost irrelevant if you've seen enough fucking Clint Eastwood and John Wayne movies. It's like what what the fuck is happening around me? Is this like Bizarro World? And again,
think about it this way: our generation grew up, Eastwood, Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, the whole 80s and 90s, right?
Right.
This generation, we had action movies and action stars. What does this generation have? The millennials. Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron about a chick kicking out everyone's ass.
Dude, have you seen? This is the first time I thought of this, and I don't know why. Have you seen the 21 Jump Street, the remake?
Oh, dude. I mean,
With,
first of all, Channing Tatum, he looked like a fat alcoholic bash. He's all bloated out.
Well,
How dare they destroy our childhood with that? It was horrible.
No, I'm not. Forget about the quality of the movie. But do you see what the more? So Channing Tatum and whatever the fuck his name is, yeah, the anorexic kid or whatever, the bulimia. I think bulimia is the eating disorder where you vomit. They go back to high school. They're actually 25 or 30 or whatever the fuck they are, and they go back and pose as high schoolers. But forget about the quality of the movie. I agree with you. They butchered that that 80s fucking series on the big screen. But it was when they went back, Channing Tatum, who was the fucking rock star in high school when he was younger, came back, and the jocks and cool kids were no longer the cool kids. The fucking like the hipsters and geeks were the cool kids.
So weird. So
yeah, they go back, and the fucking the estrogen beta males like one of the cool kids. Like so maybe that's what's maybe there's some art imitating life or whatever. It's like that maybe is kind of what it's like. It's like if I walk into a high school today, are like the skinny jean hipsters who wear ski caps in class when it's fucking 90 degrees out. Like, are they the cool kids? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Maybe
walking around with their crushed testicles.
And
they take their crushed testicles and they go sit in their Teslas that their mommy and daddies have bought them. They drive their Teslas home, all the while suffering from range anxiety.
They're boxes of soy milk,
and while drinking a soy latte.
Did you finish high school in 95?
98.
98. Did you was the Mustang 5.0 like the shit at your high school?
At my school, because I went to being in New York, it wasn't so much the Mustang. It was my high school was it was like the whole import range. Like it was everybody was rocking.
Like a 3000 GT, like the Mitsubishi 3000 GT kind of thing,
dude. Talking about like that, like the Toyota Supras. If you had a Supra, oh my god, dude, a Supra today is like a 6-figure car.
Is it really?
Are you kidding me? Oh my god, go do like a search. Go to cars.com, look for a Toyota Supra from 93 to 96, and see what the price is. If you could find one, you're paying through the nose.
Yeah, when
crazy.
When we were, I remember that car, and I remember it having ridiculously fucking quick car. But all the rage we were in the early 90s was like my parents have, and I don't know, we were like my suburb was totally like a middle class suburb. So all the rage at the time was if your parents could afford to buy you a Mustang 5.0, then. Yeah, that was the shit. And now,
rolling in my 5.0, put a rack top down.
I know, bro. I know, but that was the huge car. Both versions of it. There were two versions of it. I think the LT and the GT or whatever the fuck it was. Right. And yeah, there were a couple kids that had them, and that's a lot of balls for a 16-year-old kid. Like when you just learned how to you just learned how to drive and you have that kind of horsepower. It was a lot of balls, but that car that is what we kind of in my area, my generation. That's kind of what we fucking grew up on. And the Camaro was big at the time too. A couple guys
I had a Camaro, man. I had in 2012. I bought a 2013 Camaro ZL1, and oh my god, that thing came out of the factory with a supercharger. It was like 580 horsepower. I took that bad boy to 720 to the wheels. I call that car the axe murderer.
Dude, that's you juiced it up that much,
dude. That car like in 2.8 seconds. Quarter miles were in the 10s, bro. No joke.
Jesus Christ,
it was,
dude. You got a little Fast and Furious in you, dude.
Yeah, I did the whole muscle car thing, and it's just not for me. You know what the thing the M3s taught me? M3s taught me it's not about power; it's all about control.
Like I said earlier, they hug the road.
They hug it feels so good. Like it has a steering that's unmatched by a steering feel that's unmatched by no modern car could touch that in terms of steering feel.
Well, dude, I would absolutely, if I knew more about what's going on under the hood and was able to work on the cars myself,
I will help you.
Dude, the look I love of the 60s and 70s Mustangs, Corvettes, Charger, like some of those old. Dude, they are beautiful, dude. Those are beautiful. They're beautiful cars. I'm so mechanically retarded that I without having a mechanic that I really trust or me knowing what the fuck I'm doing, because I think you have to kind of have one of the two. You can't be mechanically retarded and have a mechanic who fucks you, because at the end of the day, it's 50-year-old technology, right? So you have to keep the fucker in pristine shape if you're gonna own one.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna get a car, let me know, man. I'll go car shopping with you.
Dude, it's always very tempting for me, man. Because they're beautiful. I love the look of cars. I love driving a nice car, and it's for me. It's just like I wish
I Porsche, man. I could see a Porsche 911 in your life, man. I think
dude, it's hard for me to kind of when you get into those smaller sport cars. I have a hard time fitting in one and getting in and out.
You'd be surprised. That's why the 911 is so easy to get in and out of, man.
Yeah,
dude, here's the thing. I took my M3. It's a 2-door car, right? Took my M3 today. Like, I have water delivery, but because of snowstorms, everything got delayed. I'm like running out of water. I'm like, screw it. Dude, I took my M3 right before the show started, went all the way across town to the water, servicing place, right? They sell filtered water in 5-gallon, those big 5-gallon cooler jugs, right?
Right.
I fit 9 5-gallon cooler jugs in the trunk of my M3.
I didn't realize that they were that roomy. I've never examined an M3 or M5 bumper to bumper. I've driven an M5 a couple times, dude, but I've never
I'll send some pics in my car.
Dude, it's right now. Dude, cars are badass, man. Cars are badass, and it's great.
It goes hand in hand with watching. It goes hand in hand with manliness, bro. It really does.
I hate to admit that you're right, but it does.
You appreciate the mechanical engineering. It's art, man.
Well, it's both. They're works of art, and they're engineering. A lot of them are engineering marvels, and like I said, I'm probably due for a nice car. I live modestly with certain things and splurge with other things, and especially if I could rationalize them as a good investment, then it makes easier to make a decision. And I think we talked about it last week, where like men and women have different weaknesses as it pertains to like consumer spending. Yeah. But a nice car, if you take care of it, you know what you're doing. Yep. You can't flip it pretty easily. Like if that day ever comes.
Yep, exactly. You could, you absolutely could. And it's especially there's really certain things in life that appreciate in value apart from cryptos and metals and certain other investments you might have. You get the right kind of car, man. You'll never lose money. You never will.
Well, and dude, there's something to be said for if you put something up as a goal, and you work to achieve it. I know it's very pedestrian from a psychological standpoint, but it feels good to reward yourself. Like I don't think anyone should ever conduct irrational impulse decisions. If you get an erection that you need something right away, probably a bad idea to
bad idea.
Bad idea to pull the trigger on it. But if you study something hard enough and you're like, I deserve that. Here's what I'm going to do to get it. And if I follow all these things the next 6 months, next year, next 2, whatever, depending on if it's a long-term or short-term goal, then yeah, dude, you should splurge on it. By no means am I suggesting people go out there and take a bunch of fucking credit card debt to get shit like that. But if you set reasonable goals, dude, it feels good to reward yourself. I for a long time, and this is I don't know if you've ever, I don't know since you got red pilled, if you ever experienced this or not. But when I first took the fucking the pill and I woke up to, and that's when I was like prime time in my prepper days. And I thought literally every day I thought it was the last day before the zombie apocalypse occurred.
Yeah, dude, that's how it was under the Barack Obama administration. You just counting down for destruction. I was too.
I couldn't get any new watches because I didn't have enough sniper rifles.
For real, I don't want to buy any new watches because that's more cat food that I have to buy.
Exactly, you're right. The only thing I'm going to do with a new car is run over my neighbor and eat him if I have to. No,
exactly.
No. So when I got red pilled at first, and I was so I lived very frugally for a long time, which is an awesome way to live. Meaning, like well within your means, no debts, saved a bunch of money, like spent beyond responsibly. But there comes a point where, all right, we started the company, it took off, things are going fucking rock and roll, and people are like, dude, you still drive like a $4,000 car, and you make this much. Like, it makes no sense. Which
Right.
it will, because a lot of people feel bad about. There's only so much, and again, with me with no wife and no kids, it's like, how much money do I really need to leave my brothers? Like, fuck them.
You need
a little bit.
You need a car. Let's go get a vintage 911, bro. Oh, dude, it'll fit you so well, especially when you're driving that. You got your Omega hanging out on your wrist. Oh, dude, it's over.
Is that a common thing with preppers where like they hide in a bunker? It happened to me.
It's you got to see, every prep you make, you say to yourself, I'm preparing myself, but at the same time, you're also psyching yourself up. You get what I'm saying?
Well, it's like, so when some of the most miserable times in my life, or maybe a really miserable span of my life, when I was really unhappy and real depressed, were probably the first couple years I was red pilled, because
we go through that.
Well, yeah, you're depressed with the state of the world. You try to enlighten everyone with how central banking works, and you think the zombie apocalypse is tomorrow. So like you're living in a constant state of depression and paranoia and whatever. But that's at first. That's how I was for the first couple of years. And although I share a lot of the same ideology then 8-9 years ago that I do now, like my theories on philosophy and economics and politics hasn't changed. You eventually realize that you can't live with camouflage face paint on and a sniper rifle waiting to shoot. You can't. It's not a healthy existence, bro. Like you actually you have to have a few beers and go to a baseball game once in a while just to be normal. Like you got to live life, man. Yeah. You have to live, and that's why. And I think, and not to put words in his mouth, I think Will, my business partner, God bless him, he still sometimes, I think, has Freudian slips with his neighbors and shit. Where, well, because again, at the end of the day, we have to. Once you meet someone who's not red pilled, it doesn't even have to be like a feminized liberal or whatever. It's like, even if you meet some people and you get into monetary policy or whatever, 9/11, like we have to pretend to be blue pilled to kind of fit in with these people.
Sure, absolutely. I do the same thing. I do that with freaking family. I act like an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, because if you go freaking out the neighbors and kids, I mean, you're not the kids, they're just your neighbors, your friends, or whatever, people you meet at a grocery store. They're gonna be like, this guy's fucking nuts. Is this guy the Unabomber? What the fuck's going on? Like,
he sounds like an extremist. Let's call him.
Dude, you're already on the Southern Poverty Law Center's fucking list. Like,
dude, forget it.
So I've been like back into civilization for years now, but I do remember like dark times those first couple of years I was awake.
Yeah, man, me too. And then now it's like, things are better. We have challenges, but it's not the end of the world.
No.
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong. Even if shit did hit the fan, I'd be ready for it. But it's you just learn to accept it. You can't only worry about the things you can control. Like if you're constantly worried about all these things outside of your control, then you're just gonna lead a miserable life. Like you're constantly depressed, constantly stressed out, constantly this. So a lot of it you just have to let go. Like, yeah, the bankers are shit, the deep state is shit. They're all. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like yeah. Speaking of, we didn't even touch anything of what's been going on the last week or two in Washington.
Yeah, let's hit it, dude.
Dude, can you? What are you hearing? Can you? I mean, it's gone like the mainstream shit now with the leaks and the memo they found.
Dude, Fox News was actually screenshotted some of QAnon's writings, bro.
Dude, they just found the missing text too today. Like that
they found it.
The missing texts have been found. So however many missing texts in that time, 5,000 there. That's been the Department of Justice. Dude, shit might be getting real, dude.
Oh
shit.
My God. You know that soy boy Peter Stork is probably shitting himself.
Dude, I'm hoping, knock on wood, that one of the Republicans has the balls to leak everything, just like the Democrats have been doing for the last 2 fucking years or year and a half.
I want Nunez to tap into his Latin genes and have the cojones to leak this already.
Dude,
everybody else acts like a bitch. I'm sick of it, dude.
Dude, just drop it. Let us see. Like and I think the only thing
the American public, we can't because the American public are babies. I mean, dude, come on. This is what the American public want to see. Come on, give it to us.
I think the only thing that the reason the neocon branch of them is pushing back, like the Lindsey Graham and the John. Well, dude, dude, I think it's going to just confirm what me and you and many of us have known for a long time. We are really fucked living in Orwellian spy grid. Like, it's just like they literally are recording you when you take a shit or bang your wife. Like everything. Dude, everything. Like I think I think the neocons are pushing back on so I think there's an infight going on between the Republicans. Like, oh, we have to because at the end of the day, I think the memos are going to point out that we are really, really watching everything. Every single one of you, every single like the Snowden movies, not bullshit. Like people might want to stop jerking off into their computers. They literally might be fucking, dude, the whole Alex Jones shit, like your TVs are watching, like who the fuck knows how deep this shit really goes. That's the only reason I could think of the Republicans not dropping it, because I think it's going to show the extent of the surveillance state. And it's I mean, how many times could they rationalize it with, bin Laden's under your bed? It's at the end of the day, like, are people finally going to be like, yeah, maybe it's gone a little bit too fucking far? I mean,
yep, exactly.
I think it's not only going to vindicate everything the media and liberals have been saying about all the me and you have been talking about the Russia shit just being total bullshit forever, but I think it's going to say, yes, the government spies on you, and unelected deep state bureaucrats within the intelligence agencies literally know every single fucking thing you say, do. Like it's going to be much more.
The NSA is the ultimate blackmail operation. That's all it is.
Dude, it's incredible.
It's a giant blackmail.
Dude, it's incredible. I mean, think about all the shit you've ever said on the phone or typed in a text or email or in your, like, between a group of friends or your brothers or your cousins or your parents. Like, have you ever made a wisecrack joke to a friend?
Plenty of times.
I think a friend just made a joke about pulling choking out a hooker this morning to me. Like, it wasn't like he's going to do it. It was just like a hooker joke or something. Like, I mean, think about some bureaucrat having everything you've ever said and typed and whatever, and then just at any point being able to fucking kick down your door or freeze your ass. I mean, it's fucking scary. And we have a few clients who won't even communicate and like won't give their email address, and we have to communicate all by mail and shit. Like, so a lot of people live like completely off grid to protect themselves from shit like that. But I mean, it's hard to live like that too. I mean, it's Dude,
it's that's why you need the silverback.
Dude, at the end,
we're coming out with a tablet too, bro. The tablet's gonna be badass.
When is this?
Hopefully soon, maybe by the end of the month, we'll have the tablet ready to roll. You can put your whole crypto portfolio on the tablet. It's encrypted using ECC encryption, which is the highest there is in planet Earth. It's a full-on Linux operating system with a touchscreen, and you could, you have messaging, you have email, you have encrypted crypto wallets already on there. So this way, you don't got to worry about booting anything. You have your friggin' tablet. Everything is encrypted on it. It has got its own VPN. It's got everything. It is badass. We worked with a whole group of hackers to help develop this, bro. That's how badass it is.
Well, I haven't even talked to you about cryptos at all. What are your thoughts on like the correction and dip the last couple of weeks?
I think it's a great buying opportunity, man. I'm going shopping. Yeah. How about you?
Needed. Well, I think it was needed. Yeah, I think
absolutely. It needs to be tempered. Enthusiasm needs to be tempered a little bit.
Consolidation was required. A dip was required. It was all shit was run away for like 60 days, and
it was.
Yeah, that's people are funny when they freak out, but I'm like, it's very worrisome. It's back. Bitcoin's back to its November pricing. How terrifying!
Oh my god!
Like it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah,
it's $10,000, $11,000. The end of the world.
Yeah. It's back to November pricing. It's very terrifying. It's
horrible. It's the end of Bitcoin. It went down to $11,000.
Dude, we've talked about it before, dude. People love overpaying for shit. It's pretty.
They love it. They'll jump in at 20 and then they'll jump out at 10.
I know, dude.
Dude. I was telling people to jump in at like 500. I was telling people to jump in at 234 when it came to gold, and then people started coming in at 1,700, rode it up to 1,900, and then jumped out at $1,200.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, dude, there's validity to the fucking herd mentality. I mean, forget
buy high, sell low.
Yeah, dude, the amount of forget about business and clients totally for a second, and just like my friends from back home and all over that were starting to like, okay, fuck it, we'll get in, and they got in December finally. They're like, all right, well. So, and then they saw this crash. They're like, I don't hear from them anymore. Like they're like, we told you, fucking lose our number.
He's so stupid. I'm so stupid, Gus.
I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down. I'm like,
told me to buy Bitcoin at $800. Now it's worth 11,000.
Well, dude, yeah, but they haven't. I guess if you're not in the finance game and you haven't had a taste of this sector's 5-year volatility, then. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you got in at fucking 16,000, 18,000. I mean, it's like I get it, but again, study a chart on it. Look, this is not weird at all. It's like this has happened. I don't know. This happens 4 or 5 times a year. Yeah, like you said, man, it's a buying opportunity. It definitely it was needed on a lot of the big caps.
No, I agree with you, man. Wholeheartedly agree with you, 1,000%. And with that being said, bro, look at that. Time flies when we're having fun, my man.
Dude, great time, great conversation. I love that we've both gotten addicted to watches and cars the last couple of weeks. I think hopefully it doesn't turn.
I'm sitting here like 8. I have 8 watches sitting on my desk right now as I'm talking to you.
Dude, once in a while I gotta fucking pull out the collection. You can't. It does you no good if you leave it stuffed away all the time.
No, you gotta wear it, man. You gotta wear it.
Yeah, it's like once in a while you gotta pull out the gold too or silver and just look at it, touch it, count it again. Like it makes you feel good. You can only leave it buried for so long.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And with that being said, we're at the end of the broadcast. Thank you all for listening in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Check out Gus over at perpetualassets.com. Save your 401k from a 401k from becoming a 101k. Learn how to invest and take control of your own financial future. You want to get into cryptos. You want to make some headway. You want to make some moves. Now's the time to do it. Contact Gus over at perpetualassets.com. Gus Demos and Will Lear, the 2 bad boys, the mavens of finance. Check them out, perpetualassets.com. And you can follow me on the Ape channel over here at Rogue Money with my main man, El Cuco, and all our cohorts over at roguemoney.net, roguemoney.net. With that being said, take it away, El Cuco.